What is going on? Happy New Comic Book Day Eve, or as like 7.9 billion people on the planet call it, Happy Tuesday. If you're out in the East Coast, well, guess what? It's not minus 20 anymore. I don't know about where everybody else is, but here in Ontario, it is not minus 20 for like the first time in what seems to be a freaking week. So that is always good. Crazy stuff happening with New Comic Book Day. If you guys, go and check your eBays. I mean, some of the books that we were talking about, some of the books that people were just talking about in general have just exploded. I mean, you look at Thor 21, you look at Black Panther 3, they're selling like crazy right now. So do yourself a favor, go check your shops first. Don't overpay. But hey, that's just me. So guys, we did, and ladies, we did have a show, after our show planned, but we kind of switched it up last minute simply because there was a few people that couldn't make it and I wanted them to be in it. So we just kind of switched the gears and we are going to be talking Fallen Keys. Now, we're not going to be talking about like AF-15s or anything like that. We're just going to be talking about some of the books that were hot in, say, the last like year or so. And we're going to look at it. We're going to look at the prices, whether you should be buying it, selling it, all that jazz. So it's going to be a fun show. Now, being said that it's going to be a fun show, I needed to bring some fun people in, and I couldn't think of anybody more fun than the laughable and likable. You guys know him. He's a little crazy, but he's still fun. Face, what's going on, man?
What's going on, bro? That's a hell of an introduction. A lot of pressure right there.
Face is like that magician you bring to like birthday parties, and he's just like,
Right.
You didn't do anything, and he's like, oh. So that's it. But hey, man, happy Tuesday. Are you ready for tomorrow or what, man?
Yeah, for sure. Always.
Yeah. It's and I'll say my comment when we bring out our next guest, but New Comic Book Day is just getting crazy, man. Like it is, like, some books are going for like $70. This is just crazy, but yeah, we're joined by.
Sure you got those pre-orders.
Oh, I know.
Pre-orders in,
dude. More than ever, I think now more than ever, you really do need to pre-order, man, because books just don't come in anymore, and shops are just holding them out. So
yeah.
All right, let's bring in our special guest. You guys know him as Mr. VCJ. I call him Chris. What's going on, man?
Hey, not too bad.
Hey. Look, man, somebody's got to tell you, but you're growing your beard out. You look like a mess. Is everything okay at home? Like, are you okay? What's going on?
No, it's all good. I had COVID, like I mentioned earlier, so I haven't been shaving for the past few days.
God, you look like a mess. Jesus.
I know, I feel like shit.
What do you think this is? Spec Tales, where you could just come and be in shorts and sandals or something?
Well, I'm not wearing pants either. So,
do you like pants?
Who needs them?
So yeah, fellas, we're gonna be talking about Fallen Keys. Thanks for joining me. Chris, I know you're not really big into New Comic Book Day per se, but I do have to ask, did you look into any of the books that are coming out tomorrow?
No.
There's two that are just exploding right now if you go on eBay. Thor 21.
Oh yeah, I heard about the second print, right?
Yeah, some people are saying it's not a first appearance. Some people are saying yes, yada yada yada. And then Black Panther 3. I mean, people were talking about it, but today, and Face knows this because I sent a screenshot of this to our group, but somebody paid $70 for Black Panther 3.
Why?
Just
what's the reason?
So it's the first appearance. Face, help me out with the name.
The first name is Tosin, something like that.
Let's go there. Let's just stop there. Let's just stop there before we offend.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to, because I can't even remember what the last name is.
Yeah. So Tosin. So basically, it's like a Wakandian fighter or some. I don't know.
And everyone's hoping it'll show up in Wakanda forever,
he's an interesting one. I don't know that I see. It's just, he feels like one of those characters. Like, I don't necessarily know that we're gonna see him show up in the MCU or anything, but they might use him as like a tie-in. Whenever they kind of do that sort of series, in the Marvel Comics universe, you know what I mean? He would play a role there. But these new characters that everybody seems to just think are going to pop up in the MCU, man.
I
might
agree
be a
with
little
that.
bit of time for a while. You know what I mean?
I agree, and also too, I'm noticing because I it's not like I don't pay attention with what's coming out every week. Like I just don't. It's not my focus. But I've been noticing in the last like 6 months, it seems like every week there's like 4 or 5 books coming out every week with new characters coming out, and it's like they're just manufacturing them for sales apparently, and it's working,
Right.
and we're all just following for it. And I worry about that. It's starting to feel like manufactured comics like they did in the early 90s. That worries me.
Right.
The other thing too, and I know I've talked to both, you know, I think both of you have heard me say this, but we are at a point right now too with like collecting where, you know, and I know this because I've seen it firsthand where people are like, you know, this is going to be $1,000 in, if I just hold on to it, there's going to be $1,000. And then the next week somebody comes and they're like, I think this is going to be $1,000. So this is going to be $1,000. And I'm not showing off books here. I'm just saying like, these are the only books around me. But that's kind of what it feels like where people are just like, okay, this is going to be $1,000 book in 5-10 years. I just have to hold it. And that's how people are collecting these new characters. And not everybody's going to make it. It just doesn't work that way. Right?
99% won't. My thing with these books is I'm more interested. Well, you guys know that I'm an older book collector, but I look at a book like that Elsa book, and I have one. I have a few actually, because I did actually buy that. But if I hadn't, I probably would have waited till the summer and bought it then when it lulled, because it will lull. People will forget about that book. They always do. And it's like, but if it still has energy behind it, like people are really excited about it, but it goes down to $20-25, I'll pick up a couple there at that price point, because that it starts to prove itself a bit. It needs to
you're still going to be buying it cheaper than right now where the height where it's still going for 25 to 30, right?
Yeah. Or I remember their variant is like 80, I think.
The 1 in 10, it goes for about 80.
So
I'm interested to see what happens with that one, just simply because the second print that comes out, I think next week, is basically the cover for that one. Like it's the cover for 1 in 10 is the second print. So I'm interested to see. Hopefully, if somebody really wants to buy that, they do their research, they look at the pictures, because I don't want anybody getting screwed and buying the second print thinking that they're buying the 1 in 10, because that is just not good. So, but yeah, it's going to be crazy tomorrow. I got my copies pulled. I got 3 and 3, so I'm pretty good. So nobody should be, hating on me for taking it. I've started doing this where, like, when I do go to Big B, I take a video and a time, and I'm like, hey, it's Wednesday, 5 p.m. or 5:30. The stack is still here, right? And like I take like 2 or 3 copies, and people still get mad at you. They're like, man, I couldn't get there till Sunday. It's like, so why didn't you call on Sunday and just save some and just like reserve one? You know what I mean? Like it's mind-boggling telling me, but hey, it is what it is, man.
I always go back to it. People are fucking lazy. Like they really are, genuinely. I myself included at times, but it goes for a lot of stuff in life.
It happens, man. It happens. All right. Well, let's stop talking about New Comic Book Day, because that's tomorrow, and I need something to talk about tomorrow. I need something to look forward to. Well, I mean, every day is a new day, but let's start talking about Fallen Keys. So basically today we're going to be asking ourselves, would we still buy this key? Would we still buy these books? These books have become hot, I'd say probably in the last year. Some of them you might look at and be like, whoa, I remember I had FOMO for this, or whoa, I overpaid for this. Well, we're going to look at some prices, and we're going to ask ourselves at the end, will we still buy them? Should we still buy them? And not every key, a lot of people are like, hey, you need to buy keys when they're down. You can't buy everything, right? So let's be honest there. So we're really going to dive deep, look at the numbers, look at the percentages, and we're going to have fun with this. So
sounds good.
Without further ado, gentlemen, are you ready to party? All right, Fallen Keys. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I gave that away. Perfect. All right, so let's start it off. First book, and you guys might be surprised because sometimes I get some messages like, hey, noob, you only talked about Marvel stuff here, or hey, noob, I mean, this show is only Marvel. I get it. I understand. I do show love to DC, so let's show love to DC. Earth to number 19, first appearance of Val Zod, spiked like crazy in the summer. Everybody was looking for this, even the mailman. Raw copies reached $50. I don't have any numbers on CGC, but everybody wanted this. Everybody was just convinced that this was happening. This was, this guy's coming back, this, boom, all that stuff. And here we go. This book is cooled down. Raw copies now anywhere between $10 to $20. Again, no CGC pricing, just raw. But I mean, you're looking at almost a 50% drop. Face, I remember when this book came out, everybody was posting it. It was still $1 book before the hype. I mean, at most, you could probably find it for about $5. But this thing has dropped so much. Chris, I'm not sure if you have any of these, but I'd like your feedback. Not only because it's DC, but at the same time, it's a character, like Spexman is saying, it is confirmed to happen. But again, when it's not in our face, people forget.
Well, I mean, it's a Val Zod. I don't know a lot about the character, but this is so out of my wheelhouse. It's not even funny. Like, it's just like, I wouldn't even like give this book a second glance, just because I don't like Earth, like multiple Earth stuff and in the DC universe, because it's just I would have had to start reading in 1967 to understand it all by now, and I hadn't. So anyway, I don't know what to say other than I'm not surprised it's dropped.
Yeah, DC is always tough, man. Because I mean, let's be honest, DC, the spec with DC and everything like that, a lot of it comes from the people that are just generally fans of the comics more so than any type of spec reaction to like the TV series or the movies. I mean, there's obviously some reaction, but it's nothing like the Marvel stuff or even really the indie stuff, so much. And that's just because people don't tend to have as much faith in DC. And I mean, rightfully so. They really haven't shown so far that they can build a cohesive universe over there, or even consistently sell a good product. They've had some good stuff come out,
Face, does that go for the comics as well as the movies? Like, it seems like, because their movies are a mess. Like
the comics, it's
interesting.
The
shows are more
especially with the
recent
recent stuff. Yeah, right? the recent stuff in the comics, like some of it, like it's actually been pretty good writing, but a lot of it's tied together in ways that makes it kind of hard for like new readers to jump into. You got 3 or 4 different series from DC crossing over all in the same week, and you have to buy like fucking 8 different issues of comics that you don't generally read just to get the complete story. People don't tend to like that sort of thing,
well, and that's actually what
around
got me out of books. That got me out of books in the 90s, because you had to buy 9 different books.
Right.
To read this.
Exactly.
And
And that's where DC's at with it right now. I mean, the writing's solid on several of the series that they've got coming out right now, but man, Val Zod, though, is a great character. I think it's Michael B. Jordan is having something to do with whatever they're producing with this. So there's definitely some potential there. It's just one of those things, it just depends on your faith level in it, man. And,
well, they are doing that show. Like, it really is.
Yeah. That's the thing. Michael B. Jordan definitely gives me more faith in the project than most other DC projects. So
yeah, I didn't realize that was the same character.
Listen, I'm just gonna say one thing. Naomi. Remember how high everybody was on Naomi, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's gonna change, and maybe DC's gonna change." Look at what the show's done. I don't think the movies are necessarily a big mess. I think they're getting a little bit better. Take away Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, the first one.
Like 80% of them.
All that. We'll see what happens, but I just think that the shows are more of a mess. I don't think anyone cares. I mean, the CW stuff. I mean, I don't know. When I saw the trailer for that Naomi, I was like, this is going to be rough. So I don't know. I think it's more of the shows than anything. The movies, they can get better. I mean, you got Shazam, success, right? Aquaman 2's coming. That should be good. You got Black Adam coming. So, fingers crossed for DC. But
Spexman's saying that the Val Zod is going to be a movie. I'm pretty positive it's a TV series for HBO Max now. As you guys know, I work in that world. That's where I make my paycheck. So, but it's going to be a high budget one, very high budget, probably movie like.
Yeah.
So
that's actually probably a better move for them.
I agree.
The HBO Max series, I think.
I agree.
Also, I forgot Peacemaker. Peacemaker, that show is actually fucking hilarious.
You're digging it?
I'm digging it.
Yeah, the reviews
I've only, okay, hold on.
great.
I've only watched one episode, but I'm digging it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
that's fun.
I mean, it's just that like stupidness. I don't know. It's just I don't know. Not like it's relatable to me, but like, you know, it's just makes me laugh, and I'm like, you know, it's like one of those things. Like, maybe it's because it's so bad we're like more attached to it, because like it is John Cena after all, right? So
I just want to say something to Specsman. It isn't a CW show. You're right. It's an HBO Max series, from what I was told.
I'm looking forward to more of the HBO Max stuff. See what they do there.
But they have budgets
of
of 50
CW
million.
stuff, to be honest.
Sorry guys, you know what I forgot to do before we started the show? This is what I forgot to do. I forgot to say hello to everybody. So I apologize.
Oh, yeah, JB, fucking slacker.
Yeah. I apologize, chat. So Dan Delatorre, what's going on, man? Yes, you're taking the gold. Newbie, yes, silver. So you're keeping a medal in Canada. Good for you, sir. No, I'm just kidding. Serge, what's going on, man? How are you, sir? You are taking home the silver. Michael, you're taking the bronze. So, I mean, that's like 2 weeks now. No Canadians taking the medals. Dale, loco. What's going on, Empire? How you doing, man? Zen, I'll take the copper medal. Yeah, I think I need to start adding more medals just so some of the Canadians can take some. Bleeker, what's happening, sir? TKO, the comic criminal, late to the party. Yeah, you're never late, man. Miguel, what's going on, sir? Just Cruise, Mr. Don Juan, Sector 2815. How are you, dude? Hernani, I hope I spelt that here in the 6. If you guys don't know what the 6 is, that's just Toronto. That's the nickname of Toronto. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I get asked that a lot sometimes, like, hey, you know, why does Drake or people call it the 6? It's just the number, because the area code is 416. So there you go. Captain, what's going on? Merelda, to you too. I hope you're having a great day. I can't send you my link because I don't have a cell phone. So yeah. Sup 49, what's going on, man? How you doing? Turkish, what's going on to you too, sir? How are you?
Oh, we got all the bots tonight.
Yeah, oh yeah, man. Just make sure you hit the thumbs up, bots. Nowhere bound, what's going on, good people? Dan Delatorre, I am with Vancouver. Chris, I've warned everybody about what the new comic market is doing. It's similar to the mistake of the 90s. Yeah. I wasn't into comics in the 90s. I was just a youngin'. So yeah. They are all going to be worth $1,000. Oh boy. Keith, what's going on, man? How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Jesus Christ, what are you collecting, bots?
Spidey Girl 69. What's going on? Thank you for joining. I'm not going to visit Sister 1910, but if anybody wants to, you know, go ahead. Russian bots in here. Yeah, Blue Wrenches. Come on, get them out of here. Hard Knocks. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. I think I got everybody who's in the chat, but you know how it is. When you come in, I'll give you a shout out. Uncanny Swag. I see Brandon Looney Tunes. Aggressive. Relaxing. What's going on? Uncanny. That can't be. No, he can't be a bot. I've talked to him before. Maybe he's just messing around with us. FYI, 6 boroughs
with that name.
of old Toronto. 6 boroughs. We got to do a modern collectors versus silver collector show. Ooh, that's good.
Good idea.
Newbie playing Russian bots for some more. Brandon, what's going on? All right. You didn't know I spoke Russian. Yeah, I only speak English and Spanish, and sometimes my English isn't even that good. So I figured I'd just dab into Russian, and yeah, we're there.
Yeah, just jump right in.
Yeah. Apparently, it's really easy to learn.
Yeah. I'm sure I could just, you know, play in the KHL too. So, all right. Switching gears, we're going to go back in here. Next book on the list is Superboy 9, first appearance of King Shark. The movie, you know, like there was a lot of hype with them. Basically, you know, when the trailer came out for this, I mean, everybody was saying, "Oh my God, you know, King Shark looks cool. Oh my God, it's cool." Yeah. No. Basically, you know, he was a shark that had a nudity in the movie. Raw copies were selling anywhere between $60 and $85 Canadian, and now they're back down to about $15 to $25. I haven't seen the movie. I don't know anything about the movie. I haven't seen anything about King Shark, but this was one of those books that got really hot. The FOMO kicked in. Everybody was going nuts for it, along with all the books on this list. FOMO hit. Worth buying. I mean, this one's taking a hit. It's more affordable. I went on record as saying I would never pay. And at the time when it was hot, I said, you know what? I'm not paying anywhere close to $100 for this book. It's just not a smart investment. You could probably find it months later. Well, guess what? Months later, and now it's back to about 15 to 25. I still think it's a little high. What are your thoughts, Chris?
You know, it's funny. They almost created like a new Groot out of King Shark. If you've seen the movie, they did such a wonderful job with King Shark as a character, whereas I could see him really turning up in other places at some point. He was that likable. So with that in mind, at $15, I just hold it and see what happens. I mean, I understand why it dropped. It's just that these kind of books always drop after an appearance in a movie. They just do. This is the greatest time to buy them, quite frankly. So,
do you think there's a future for King Shark though? Like, I
have
haven't seen the movie. So I don't know.
You should see the movie. I think there's a potential for a future simply because he was so fucking lovable. Like, they really did a great job with his character, and I would love to see him turn up in other kind of oddball DC shows. I just don't know where that would be. So I don't know. I think there's potential. It's $15. Yeah, just hold it. Really.
Yeah, but you could buy like 2 Turok 1s with that.
You could buy like 15, maybe 30 Turok 1s with that.
Listen, I posted that photo of somebody selling Turok 1 for $8.
$8, really?
$8 for a Turok.
Wow. Jesus.
That's
a
Dude,
you should have seen my face. I know that I'm getting off topic here, but you should have seen my face when I pulled it out. I did one of these. I was like,
wow, that's crazy. I think they published like 1.7 million copies of that book.
Yeah, there was a fuck ton of those.
Yeah, like people bought every one of them because it was like one of those Valiant books.
I was wanting to ask the guy if I could open it because maybe there were $7 inside. Like maybe that's what the trade-off was. I don't know. It was kind of weird, but Face, what are your thoughts on Superboy number 9?
Yeah, I like King Shark, the character, whether it's the comic book version or the version that we just got in the most recent Suicide Squad movies. It's a fun character either way. I'm kind of surprised he never sort of like just kind of naturally became an Aquaman villain rather than fucking around with Superboy and like the Flash and shit, whatever. I definitely think there's some potential there. Like we got the Suicide Squad movie, and like Chris said, it was actually a pretty good movie, and it seems like he does have some potential at that. Of course, we're getting the Peacemaker series right now, which is getting really great reviews. If DC's got any sense, they would offer James Gunn a fucking dump truck fleet of money to just run the DC universe and make the billions of dollars that they potentially could. But we'll see. So, as cheap as this book is, and with the hopes that maybe James Gunn does more with DC, especially with those characters, yeah, there's definitely some potential there. It's worth holding on to anyway at that price for, pretty solid, I would say, B-level DC villain slash. I don't know. Are they making him an anti-hero now, or what? I don't know what the fuck they're doing with him right at the moment.
At the end of the movie, did they leave something? And I'm okay if you guys spoil it for me, but like, did they leave kind of room for this team to like reappear at some point, or was it kind of just like, hey, the movie's done, characters finished the mission, back to jail or wherever they?
I don't remember. There's a lot of characters.
Yeah, it's Suicide Squad, so there's always that room for them to reappear, even if they do, okay, mission's done, go back to jail or whatever.
Like Peacemaker died, right?
Or whatever.
Like Face, remember they killed him at the end of the movie, and now he's got a TV series. So
who?
Yeah, exactly.
Peacemaker. He fucking died.
You saw really. I mean, they had an end credit scene or something. I think they said it.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
He died, but he has his own show. So this is a prequel to that. I'm assuming.
No. It's afterwards. So, but yeah.
How can you die when you don't have any
They shot
power?
him in the head, and the whole building blew up around him. So you think he's dead, right? But yeah, he didn't die.
Pretty much
the
the rest
movie.
Of the movie.
You could actually die, and you can come back. Like that's how movies are.
True.
That's that's what it is.
Anyway, I like both those shows.
Was it a character dump?
What's that mean?
I don't know. That's why I was like, because Peacemaker lived. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's probably potential. I mean, from not seeing this movie, right? The two biggest things that came out was, one of them being King Shark, how he was really, received. So I mean, there is potential, but I mean, again, it just goes to show you where these prices were at the height of it, now where they are. So there's obviously going to be room to grow if they ever reappear. Doesn't necessarily mean that, the price is going to stay at 15 to 25. It could go down a bit. You never know.
Even better.
Yeah. He says too many characters in one movie. That's what he means.
Oh,
so just
right,
like in the
right.
comments.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that Suicide Squad does have that issue.
Well, they left a team alive at the end of Suicide Squad 1, and that entire team, but Harley got brutally murdered in the first 5 minutes of number 2.
Oh, man, way to ruin it.
Dude, come on. I have too much respect.
That was actually a pretty
for
good
the
way.
Artists and the writers who write these movies
after we totally blasted through the whole movie.
Spoiled. Couldn't help myself there.
That was pretty smart when they did that at the beginning of
Boomerang was like, man, could you imagine like reading the script for that and like coming home and being
Boomerang?
Like, Mom, listen, I made it. I'm gonna be in a Disney and a DC movie. And then he's like reading the script. He's like,
fuck, that's 3 pages.
I'm only in it for about 10 seconds. So yeah, okay. Never mind.
I mean, at least he wasn't Slipknot from the first movie.
All right. 2 DC books in a row. Are we going for 3 here?
Please no.
No, we're not. We're gonna be talking about newbies' knowledge of Star Wars here. Rest in peace, Boomerang. So we got Darth Maul 2. Now, this one I know a little bit about, and Face being more of a Star Wars guy than myself and Chris, he might have more information to basically put on this. But this was basically a $20 book. This is the first appearance of Cade Bane, if I'm not mistaken. And Face, you'll correct me when you get to talk. But if I'm not mistaken, this is a bounty hunter. Anything Star Wars is money. Spiked in June 2021. That's when it took off. I know that because I remember it was a week before my birthday when I sold mine. So it was June 19th. Raw copies were selling anywhere between $85 and $150 Canadian for that book. There was no CGCs for sale when it first spiked. However, raw copies now are selling anywhere between $30 and $100. So you do see a little bit of a spike when I was looking on eBay. Even today, there are a few copies out there for about $35 to $40. So it has dropped almost about 50%. Again, Star Wars, though, it's money. All these books, right, with all these, bounty hunters and this and that, you never know when they're going to pop. There's also that rumor. Can't remember who reported it, but apparently they're like opening up to all these different sideshows now, and they're going to be bringing in like 100 new characters in Star Wars. So who knows? But again, you can't go wrong with something Star Wars. Are you surprised at the drop? Chris, I don't know if you know too much about this book.
I do. Yeah. I know a little bit about it. I'm not surprised by the drop because these books went through the roof last year. Like everything went too fast. Like when things go up that fast, they've got to come back down a bit. And they've just comfortably landed somewhere, I guess, now. But if I saw this book in the wild for $30 raw and it was in nice shape, I wouldn't think twice about it. I'd buy it. I think Cad Bane's cool. So but saying that, I'm not surprised a lot of this. The Turtles books are dropping quite a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of that kind of stuff that just peaked too much. It's just kind of calming down to reality. But I'm sure these are in the wild for pretty cheap if you look hard enough. But I'm sure
I found mine in the wild. I paid $20. I found mine in the wild back then. I think it was April, I think. Like
nice.
Right when we first opened from like the first lockdown last year. That's when I picked it up.
That's a cool cover too, by the way.
Yeah. I like it. And I don't really like too many Star Wars characters.
I dig it. I'd buy this for sure.
Face, what do you think, man?
So this one's kind of in an interesting position right now. It almost doesn't fit this list anymore just because of people getting their hopes up that he's going to show up in one of these last few episodes of Book of Boba Fett, which he's a bounty hunter, so obviously there's some ties there. And in a lot of the legend stuff, it was Boba Fett that ends up, taking him out. They have like one final duel. Boba Fett beats him to become like the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, and that's how Boba gets his rep. The problem for him showing up in this series would be kind of like the timeline. They've sort of established that in the Clone Wars, that Cad Bane was the greatest bounty hunter at the time. Like he was, top notch. He was the one you went to, but Boba was still a kid. He hadn't developed his reputation or anything yet. So somewhere along the line, Boba wins, that title. That he's the best bounty hunter, all before he even shows up in Return of the Jedi or anything like that. So Cad Bane should be long dead by the time of the Book of Boba Fett series.
I wish I knew what you were talking about. Like I'm trying to connect the dots here,
right?
And I'm like, I have
basically
no
it just kind of boils down to the timeline doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense for him to show up in the Book of Boba Fett, but it is a very interesting character.
Are people expecting this character to show up in this?
There was some rumors that he might show up there and everything. But it's an interesting enough character that, and it is one that was kind of created, for Clone Wars by Dave Filoni, or Jon Favreau, and everything like that. So I think he's definitely got a potential future.
And I know Specsman said it, but I do remember that, Keys is a big Star Wars guy. So anytime anything Star Wars happens, or I buy something Star Wars, I know I kind of just, bounce ideas off him. But I remember him saying when I bought this, that character has already shown up. And, Specsman is saying it here too. The character's already shown up in Bad Batch. So I don't know if that kind of hurts it or not. But yeah, if you're saying that the timelines don't match either, I mean, I kind of have a hard time believing that it'll
wasn't Ashoka in an animated show too, and
she started in Clone Wars, and she showed up in.
And now she's the biggest thing in history.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Yeah, I do want to point out Jess Cruz's comment.
It's a little slow.
Yeah,
it should be called Tales of the Black.
Hold out hope for the last few episodes to have some good resolution, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, it's slow.
There's no way he shows up. They already established his place in screen canon in Bad Batch. Yeah, like I wish I knew what that meant. When did Bad Batch take place? Like timeline wise, like from Boba Fett,
like before New
Hope. Boba Fett, whatever. Yeah. Like how long are we talking, Face?
Let's see. So Bad Batch would be, it would be after the Clone Wars and everything. The Empire's taken over, so kind of. I want to say in that time period between maybe like right around the time of I guess A New Hope, the first Star Wars movie, Luke Skywalker and all that, somewhere between the end of the Clone Wars and that period.
Yes, I agree.
You really hate it. You hate Star Wars.
I don't hate it. I've only watched like 2. I've watched like episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Probably not the best one to watch.
I watched the one with Lando, like the one with Donald Glover, whatever that one is.
Again, not the best one to start with.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's the one with Emily Clark too. And then I saw the one with they go to the island or whatever. There's like an island, and then like they're climbing up at like this computerized thing or whatever, and they drop something or whatever. Does that?
The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, sure.
Oh,
yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's more newer, but yeah, those are the only 3 I've seen, and
you literally picked up the worst ones. You should watch Rogue One. I love that one.
Rogue One. All right,
there you go.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah, Rogue One was awesome.
I'll give it a try.
Oh yeah.
Book of Boba happens like 20 years after Bad Batch. Yeah, so he
should be long dead by now.
Yeah. Island boy.
I feel like Spexbed has like all these monitors surrounding him with like matrix data going by, like what's got the Star Wars specs up on everything.
Specs got a lot of info. That's Tron, newbie. You know what? I gotta.
He's got the Tron monitor up right now.
Newbie wants to sing Island Boys. No, I don't.
Hey, you just did though.
Canadians don't get Star Wars up there. Yeah, we do. We get Star Wars.
You don't get Star Wars? I fucking love Star Wars. I would not remember seeing it in the theater, the first one.
Listen, I don't want any of our American friends or wherever you're watching to think that I represent the Canadian market for Star Wars.
At all.
I am. Yeah, They would like deport me if they could, if I was there like go-to, Star Wars guy. So.
Right.
You're more of a Battlestar Galactica
guy. All right, let's get into one that's a bit interesting. I never really caught on the heat of this, but again, another summer, heater. Raw copies were selling anywhere between 180 and 250. Raw copies now selling anywhere between 40 and 120. So a massive drop. This one was really sought after. A lot of people wanted it. I remember hearing people say, I want this, and I don't know why. And I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense. Like there was, it never seemed like there was an answer on why. And that's okay. Because, people can collect whatever way they want. But this one just seemed to be, and like Chris said, a lot of these books just spiked way too fast. I think this one's a perfect example because this one pretty much overnight, I think, I can't remember who said it, but I think it was, said on like a YouTube channel or something like that. And then it just exploded. FOMO, 7 squared almost. This one just exploded to about 250. And that was like I said, raw. I never really caught on it. I never once thought, you know what, I'm missing out. Here I am now being able to pay, almost $40 for it if I wanted it, which I'm not. I still think that's a little high. But what are your thoughts, Chris?
I actually bought this book the first day it came out, which is weird for me, right?
Okay.
I just thought it was cool. So I picked it up. I liked it a lot. I had no idea it went up to $250 Canadian ever. So I'm actually quite content with it being worth $40 to $120 Canadian. I'm very happy about that situation. So I don't know, man. It's cool, but I to be honest, I'd wait a little longer. It's gonna die out a bit more, and I think you'll be able to get it cheaper in the summer. That's what I think. Newbie's a Floridian at heart.
I am, man. I'm a Miami Heat fan. I love it. So yeah, Florida Gators fan. Yeah, I can fit in.
That's what I feel about that book.
Too much to grasp.
Yeah. So this is. I mean, it's a cool comic and everything like that. I like the cover. One Punch Man is a cool show. The thing is, like, okay, so I'm an anime fan. I am a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z, specifically Vegeta. And one of the things that I would personally like to add to my collection is Vegeta's first appearance. But I'm not looking for a comic book, you know what I mean? Like I'm actually looking for the Shonen Jump that he first appeared in from Japan rather than the comic. So I think if you are really into, the anime and the manga scene and everything like that, if you're looking for where this guy like first initially shows up and everything, that's probably more along the lines of what you're going to look for. But being, a fan of this character, I would still think you would want to add a cool comic to your collection. I think the prices now are a lot more reasonable. I wouldn't mind picking one of these up for those prices. I think I would probably tend to stay away from it from the higher end.
What do you guys remember? What made it? Well, I mean, Chris didn't even know it went up that much, so maybe Chris isn't the best to answers. But like, do you remember what made this like just go nuts though? Because it seemed like it was like maybe a weak transition where it was like.
I feel like there was an announcement last year about a Netflix show for something.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's probably a Netflix show or something.
It was a Netflix show, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah,
which didn't go so well for Cowboy Bebop. So I mean,
I like Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that the show's actually pretty decent, but yeah, they canceled it already. Fuck
yeah,
shit's crazy with Netflix.
Yeah, they cancel everything.
Netflix? Oh fuck yeah. My movie got
canceled. Do a season, cancel it, make some new shit.
Yeah. Announced that One Punch Man. Announced that One Punch Man would be a live action show. Anime and manga is what tweens are all into. It's crazy how packed those. Yeah. Anime right now, I think, is at like the biggest peak of all time in the last like 2 years. Like, and I've told both of you guys, like the last 2 shows that I've gone to, like the last Comic-Cons that I've gone to, like I can't tell you how many people are dressed up as these, anime or whatever. I have no idea who they are dressed up as. I've also told everyone, I'm like, I was just shocked at the amount of like, not just because they're women, but like the amount of people buying swords, like at these shows and like all these weapons from this. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Which is cool because if you're going there's no line for me to go to where I want to go. But like at the same time, I was like, I have no idea. Like I remember saying to Just Cruise, like, we would pass these like cosplayers. I'm like, I don't know who this is. I've never seen this person in my life.
I'll throw it on the table though, dude. Okay, so there's a generation, like my son's generation is obsessed with this shit. Obsessed. 20, 30 years down the road, they're gonna have money and they're gonna want to buy all this shit again.
Yeah.
So long term, this might be some of the best stuff to buy right now.
Really, eh?
Well,
Okay.
you never know.
Yeah,
I mean,
could be.
if a generation's like buying into it and falling in love with it, like we did with certain things in the 80s and 90s, you know, it could be the next thing.
Right. Yeah. Look where we are 20, 30, 40 years later, you know.
Yeah.
Look, so imagine where those kids are going to be at 20, 30, 40 years from now.
They had disposable income. Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Shoot, now you guys maybe are twisting my arm here. Maybe I'll go pick up the first appearance then.
I think it's a long term though.
Yeah,
for sure.
I go after those shonen jumps though, for first appearances and stuff though. Those are awesome.
Right.
See, Keys is with me here. Keys or Russ, what's going on, man? Yo, newbie, I felt that at the last con I went to, the busiest booth was the guy selling. Yeah, dude, I don't understand. What's going on? We're like everybody. Chris, I know you have a daughter. Is she buying swords?
No.
Okay, I
won't let her.
I just wanted to know, man, because like at Toronto Fan Expo when we went, like, and I remember saying to Cruz, like there was girls with like buying swords and going down the escalator with like 2 full swords. Like the boxes were huge, and they're just going down. I'm like, where are these girls going with these swords? Like
they're not cheap either.
No, dude, they're like $400 or $500. Like,
yeah.
You think the swords are bad? Just wait till the motherfucker with the lightsaber shows up.
Oh, God. Yeah. All right, let's shift gears here. All right, Oblivion song number 1. This one is not that old. It was just optioned for a movie or show. I can't remember which one. Jake Gyllenhaal is the mastermind behind it. So I can't remember if Jake Gyllenhaal is the one producing it, directing it, acting in it, doing all 3, doing
producing
2,
and starring.
Producing, okay. So
and
producing and starring. 9.8 exploded when this news came out. So the book ran up to $250. I remember me and Just Cruz were like shocked. And it was basically the same week that we went to Fan Expo because we saw raw copies there. And we each picked up a copy for $15. So hopefully, you know, that one comes back in a 9.8. But 9.8s now are actually selling for almost half. So they're selling for 120 to 160. In the last 6 months, it's dropped dramatically, obviously almost 50%. But I ask, because we know it's optioned, it's confirmed he's working on it. Do you think it's just a case of, okay, once we get a trailer, once we get, you know, something Oblivion song, this one goes back up to 250 or even more? Or is it a key that's just fallen too much, and regardless of what happens, it's just not going to go up?
I have a few of these myself, and if the show is getting made, I don't know if that's the case, but I think it is a movie that Netflix is doing for it. I think, and it's big, like hundreds of millions of dollars type big. And if it, you know, the book's good, like it's a good story. You know, I think there's a lot of potential there for this. Like if you can get 120 to $160 Canadian 9.8, fuck, buy them. Yeah, that's cheap. It's a cheap buy-in. But yeah, they'll go up. Yeah, probably $500 by the time the movie comes out, and then sell immediately.
Yeah,
immediately. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad buy right now. I'd buy raw personally and get 9.8s myself. That's what I would do.
That's the thing, though. You can still buy these raw and cheap enough where you could still probably get a 9.6, 9.8. Like,
and it had a big raw, like it had a lot published. So I would go raw, and like your buy-in would be $50 tops with everything all in. So that's what I'd do. I'm sure 9.8s aren't hard to get.
No. And the pink squiggle, pink signature variant is the way that you want to go if you can find those. Especially like UniX was saying in chat, you know, because obviously that was like a little secret variant that they threw in there. So I guess
how is that? Like, where is the squiggle?
It's down like in the bottom right corner. Like if you look where the signature is on this one,
yeah, it's
the same thing. It's just pink.
Oh, okay.
So, and they actually did that on this one, a couple other books too. I think Walking Dead. I think it was. I don't remember which issue it was, but I know they did. There was one of them that came out for The Walking Dead. You know, it had the same thing. So, that's the variant that you want to try and find if you can. There's potential here with Jake Gyllenhaal, acting in it and producing it. It feels like it's a little bit further along, maybe in the production than some of the other indie stuff that's been optioned recently too.
Because it's been optioned, but there's no like date on it or any specifics, right? It's just been, hey, you know what?
Not that I've heard, but with Jake Gyllenhaal working on both ends of it, you feel like it would be pretty easy for him to work into scheduling, I guess. So we'll see. It is a great read.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just hard to say how it'll translate in live action.
Yeah,
it sounds like they're going to have the budget for it to be good, but man, who knows? That doesn't always pay off.
No, it's true.
Sometimes they go a little heavy on that CGC shit and everything, and
yeah.
By the way, big shout outs to Uni X, AOA, Comic Ozzy joining the chat. Phil, what's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in on Tuesday evening, or as I like to call it, New Comic Book Day Eve. Sorry, Dan. I teach katana swords and martial arts. Those swords at cons are most cosmetic junk. Yeah.
So Dan De La Torre is like a lethal weapon, essentially.
He's it, bro. Dan is a ninja.
Go gadget.
That's awesome.
I bought mine a while back from Discovery Bay, $80 for a 9.8. Not bad. That's actually not bad at all.
I really want this movie to be good.
Me too.
Because I love the series.
Yeah.
But, man, I just
I think
it's hard to say.
Skybound and Kirkman adds to the spec value.
Probably.
Can't hurt, that's for sure.
Right? Yeah, I mean they're pretty solid over there.
Also, Kirkman's got a pretty big name in Hollywood now, so it probably isn't hurting to get the show off the ground.
And Jake Gyllenhaal is not, he's not a D-lister either. He's got a lot to say and a lot of things, and so I'm interested to see. But yeah, I think that this one is something that if you can find it very cheap. I mean, this is one of the keys, and I don't say that for a lot of the ones on this list. I think that I would be a player to get a few more, just simply because I really do think it's going to be successful.
But I gotta go back to it. Sorry. Do you remember that show that what was her name? It was kind of like a Highlander show from Mad Max 4. Charlize Theron starred in, based off the comic. What happened to that comic?
Old Guard.
Yeah, the Old Guard, and they made a movie out of it, and apparently
they're making a second one. There's a sequel.
What happened to the prices on that? It's probably going to fall in line with that.
Yeah, I think they've fallen off. Because again, it's out of sight, kind of out of mind right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did they do the second season, or they're doing a second season, or something like that?
Yeah, they are doing. Yeah, so it's not it's a movie, but they are doing another one. Good. Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. But yeah, Chris, that's actually a good comparison, because
that happens a lot with these indies.
Yeah. When that was over, though, I mean, the hype just
probably just died on it, right?
Yeah. And I remember people were kind of selling like sets for like $30-$40 of the book. So yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, I just teased this next book, but I'm kind of proud of it because it was one of my earlier spec picks, one of the books that I was picking up on a lot. And if you actually paid attention to me on Instagram today, you know that I picked a newsstand edition of this for $1 at a flea market. Fantastic Four, $3.58. First appearance of Pi Bach, the Scroll, spiked in September, October of last year. Raw copies were selling anywhere between $50, which was insane for a book that you could literally find in any shop, any long box, because I picked up, 20. And I remember people being like, hey, that's a cool cover, but like, what is it? Raw copies now, though, you can find them for about $2 to $25, and $25 being on the high end on eBay, which we all know, if that's the price on eBay, you're probably going to get it for about 20%, 15% cheaper in the wild or anything like that. A lot of people are still sleeping on this. Like I said, I picked up a newsstand edition of this. I'm not saying it's not common, but at the same time, I mean, you don't really see too many of the newsstand. I love this book. I love the cover. I love Fantastic Four. I love the Four logo. When you actually open the book up, there's a hole for that four. But I've always loved this book. And yeah, it's just crazy how it's fallen. But I do think that, once we get Secret Invasion with like Skrulls and Kree and all this stuff goes, again, I think that, this one might kind of peak a little bit. What are your thoughts, Chris? Because I know that you were going pretty big on this one as well.
Yeah, I mean, because you turned me on to it originally, and I was able to find 30 or 40 copies for about $2 each. One thing I did find about this book, though, it does have defects that are hard to see, and you can't press it. It's a cardstock, so be very careful just randomly pulling this out of back issue bins. Saying that, I think it's a great buy for the price. You could still find it for $3 to $5. I see them all the time. I think with Skrulls becoming a multi-movie thing, apparently that's the plan.
Yeah.
Why not? Once we start seeing some Skrulls, every Skrull book's going to go through the roof. I don't see why this couldn't be a $300 or $400 book in 9.8 all day long for a little period, and just sit on them and wait till that day comes and make a few dollars. So yeah, I grab it.
Yeah, this one's one. If you're gonna grab it, you're probably gonna want to do it about now, because we're starting to see the set photos leak from Secret Invasion. We just saw the Amelia Clark photos. If you frequent the comic book websites and everything, you probably saw the articles and everything. The Nick Fury photos, Kobe Smulders. So those photos are starting to come out there, and it's only a matter of time before you start seeing photos of like different Skrulls, and people start speculating on which one they are and everything. And yeah, like Chris said, the Skrulls pretty much are gonna kind of probably pop off across the board. So I wouldn't expect it to be much different for Piebok. But yeah, another thing that Chris said that I was definitely going to mention is this book is retardedly hard to find in good condition because of that die cut cover and the cardstock and everything like that. So
it takes dings.
It's a great cover, but yeah, it's a pain in the ass to find those perfect 9 and 8s.
Yeah, because I just sent a bunch to get to my presser who does my CGCing, and there was like 10 of them. I only have 3 that were 9.8 candidates out of the 10.
Yeah. I sent 3 to the same presser, and I got 0 because he told me, he's like, it's cardstock, it's hard, and there's a lot of defects, like you said, that most people wouldn't know about this book. Yeah. It's very hard to find it in high grade. So
it might be a one to buy in a 9.8 right now too.
Yeah,
like if it's cheap enough.
I wonder how many 9.8s. Like that would be an interesting number to see. Like how many 9.8s, even 9.6s, because it is a hard book. So
right.
Just sold a bunch, but kept a lot too. Yeah, and that's the thing though. You could find like so many of these. I think in total, I had about 12 or 15. I'm now down to about 4, but just simply because I sold on a high. So I remember buying this off the newsstand rack. Fuck, man, that's God damn it. What's going on, man? How you doing? Desired Comics is in the house. All right. Love that cover though. All right. Another book that I really like, and I'm giving the credit. I mean, people give me the credit for this spec. I'm giving it to Mel V. That's my guy over there. But Infamous Iron Man #1, first appearance of AI Tony Stark, first appearance of Doom as Iron Man, spiked after Newbie / Mel V made the spec. This went from literally a $10 to $15 book to basically in a 9.8 $400. Chris, I know you picked up 2 9.8s for $120 a piece. Yep. When we were talking about it. Currently, 9.8s are selling at the $200 range. Now, I think this is one where people forget really quickly, because I've seen certain YouTubers back in the day when we announced this, people are like, yeah, man, this is a smart buy it, and then now all of a sudden it's like, hey, you know what, get rid of it, it's junk. But even back then, when it was first spec'd on, myself, Mel V, and the people that were on this book said, this is going to take a while. This is probably going to be in Armored Wars, maybe in the future with the Ironheart. It's things like that. It's not a book that I would even think about selling right now. It is not a book you should be selling right now. I think 9.8s and 200 for this, that's a grab. Like I would be picking those up for that price. Just real bad information out there. So please, if you have a few and you're thinking, hey, maybe I should sell because, so-and-so said it. No, I would probably wait, because once we get back into that Armor Wars, that the, Rescue, the War Machine, all that stuff, this is going to have a place. So yeah, I definitely keep.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. People are fucking dumb. Like they are. I mean, everyone just wants money now. Like obviously everyone wants a quick flips, and this isn't a quick flip. This is we're waiting until MCU adjusts to to fit this book essentially. And I do believe that AI Tony Stark is in the future. I think like even a little hint of it somewhere would blow this book up. And I really look forward to that. And why wouldn't it? Also, the Doom as Iron Man thing is interesting.
I hope he doesn't.
There could be something to that. You never know, man.
No, nobody should be wearing that suit unless you're Tony Stark. All right, just
no, it should, but doesn't mean they won't. But it's I don't know. I think it's a really interesting thing, and the Doom thing doesn't hurt the book at all.
No,
the cover's awesome.
Face, before you go, Specsman just did the homework for us, so I appreciate you, brother, for doing that, taking the time. There's 117 total graded for a Fantastic Four 358, 41 9/8, and 22 9/6. I'm a little shocked.
That's a lot. That doesn't seem like a lot to me.
Yeah, that seems like a really small amount for as many copies.
No, but like for what I know, because I like because I know the book, I know the defect, like I know how hard it is. You know, I just would have thought, okay, maybe there's like maybe 15 or 20. Like I was expecting like a more low number. I get 41 is low, but
yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. We rock it on Sundays and Tuesdays. Face, what are your thoughts on the book, man?
Yeah, I love the cover. First of all, like you guys said, this is a fucking great Doom cover.
And Iron Man cover. Let's give it some respect.
Well, yeah, of course.
It's infamous Iron Man, not infamous Dr. Doom. Okay,
but who's on the cover?
It's half and
that's
half.
Definitely Doom. You know that's Doom.
It's half and half.
I see Doom with a reflection.
And yeah, I think AI Tony Stark will have a little bit of an appearance at some point. There's too many projects that are centered around the armored corner of the universe, I guess, with Armor Wars and Riri, still coming in the future at some point, that I think that they're probably not going to capitalize that in some way, and why not have them come back as like some AI feature or something like that, because they don't even necessarily at that point need to get Robert Downey Jr. involved. They could just CGI that shit in there and run with it. You know what I mean? So there's definitely, some potential there for him to show up and everything like that. It's one I would still hold on to. I think you got some time on it.
And break.
What happened?
Nothing.
Oh,
you zoned out on us.
Oh no, sorry. I was reading what Dan was saying. Blue wrenches. You guys are doing a great job. I was just going back to kind of erase the blue wrenches. Sorry. I thought something was going on there. Yeah, it's a piece of art, man. And like UniX is saying, right, too, is he's a Doom fan, notorious Doom fan. And like I would just love to have this. I have 2 at CGC right now. I'm hoping both of them come back 9/8. When I sent them, like I figured they were. So I'm excited because I really want them in my PC. I think I'm going to keep one for the PC forever because I really do. And then, the second one, just flip it when it hits. But yeah, this is definitely a keep for me. A key that I would be buying just simply because it's fallen does not matter. This one will go back up again. So, and again, Face, you didn't mention Harley Keener either. If there's anything to do with Harley, he's going to have a big say in it. So that's another, that is one book. I'm telling you right now, I got 2 copies at CGC right now. I'm telling you that book is going to be big. And if I'm wrong, well, hey, whatever. But it is what it is. Kid Collector, man, with the super chat. What's going on, man? Thank you so much. Save your money. I know you've been working out. I know you got college to pay for, but I appreciate it, man. Keep doing your thing. Batman 436 newbie. Oh man, yeah, I found a lot of them. I found a ton of that book, man. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna see if I can like press them and grade them. 9.6s, 9.8 for that are going for like $200 to $300. So maybe I got something, maybe I don't, but we'll see. All right, Chris, I can't wait to hear your opinion. But before you go, I gotta go. West Coast Avengers 45. I can't believe this book passed New Mutants 98 at one point. This book was more expensive than Deadpool, which is ridiculous. But first appearance of White Vision. We obviously saw him in WandaVision. It spiked after we saw him in there. A lot of people were expecting a little bit more. However, 9/8s were going for $2,895 Canadian during the show.
Jesus.
Okay. To a lot of people, and I know, Chris, when we were talking, Ryan at Automatic Comics, Dan Delatorre, and there's a bit more, but like some of the older guys, experienced collectors, you guys were just baffled. You were like, what? This was like a $5 book forever. And it was.
I wasn't that baffled by this.
No?
No, I mean, I always go back to the origin of him. Like, what is it? Avengers 57, which is fucking an amazing book. But I get why this book is worth what it is, because his new version is this character, or at least the colorless version.
Yeah.
And I actually think this book is a steal right now.
Well, look at the prices, right? So it's basically dropped almost 60%, right? So $28.95, and it is now currently selling anywhere between $700 and $1,000 Canadian. I think the one that I just saw was like $735 for a 9/8. You could probably find a cheaper one if you go CBCS as well.
Yep.
But this just, I think, baffled a few people because like
it did go up very fast.
Yeah, like a $10 to $50 book went to like $2,800.
I don't think it was that much. I mean, this was a $5 book that went to like $2,800 in like 3 months. It was ridiculous.
Exactly.
But I think that might have had something to do with there were probably very few 9/8s, like simply because it wasn't worth much, so no one really got it graded. So the ones that were out there were selling at a premium.
I think, wasn't it selling more than his actual first appearance at one point?
It was.
So I think so.
Like, yeah, that was the part that I think like fucked me up the most about it. Was like when it went past his actual first appearance, I was like, okay, that's just kind of odd. You'd think people would be scooping those up too, but.
And remember, raw copies were like the cheapest one was like $80 Canadian at the time too. When this was at the height of that show, it was like $80 to get a raw copy.
I just bought a raw copy recently. It's probably like a 9/2, and I paid $25 for it.
I do think that this one's going to go up in price though, because we are going to see him again, and it's
he's coming back,
and he's an OG Avenger.
I don't think he's gonna. I don't think the book is gonna reach $28.95 again, like close to $3,000. I don't think so, but I do think that from the 700 to 1,000, I think you are looking at what is the norm. 1,500, 1,800, somewhere around there. That's just the norm. Like when a character's in our face in 9/8, that's the norm. That's the numbers, right?
Well, I love the fact that he's out there. I look forward to seeing him. Like, he would be a good character to bridge new characters into the universe. Like, because they have all these new characters coming out. Yep. You put him into it, and you got an OD Avenger in there. It just makes that show or that movie more part of the universe. I think he's going to be one of those characters.
That's interesting.
They throw around,
because you got Doctor Strange, you got Vision, you got Thor, but I mean, who knows how long? I mean, we'll probably find out a little bit more, coming up with the movie. But yeah, the three OGs that kind of remain, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Face, didn't you say you had a copy of this graded? I think you said 9.0 or 9.4. I can't remember.
I don't have a graded copy. We've got a raw copy.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like, and thankfully I got it when it was a $5 book.
Yeah.
So
I got to get me one, and I think if I have a little extra cash, from all my Turok ones, that I'll be selling for $8, I think I might be able to get one of these. So we'll see. All right, one of my favorite books, and actually one that Chris last year kind of reminded me and said, "Hey, Noob, maybe pick this up, right? Let's look at the ladder of Wolverine." But we got Marvel Presents number 72. This one's like kind of a little interesting. So it's an origin of Weapon X. Everybody goes crazy for it because one, the cover is sick, and two, it says Weapon X on the cover. However, 77, if you read it and you open it, is kind of like the winner, right, Chris? We've talked about that.
It is, but this will always be the book that's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this spiked, obviously, when all the Wolverine stuff happened. So last March, everything Wolverine exploded. You had 180 go after 181. It just hit like crazy prices. I mean, 180 went in a 5.0, went from like a $680, $700 Canadian book to like a $1,800 Canadian book. Then people started going down the ladder. Wolverine 1 from both series, and then they found their way to this one. 9.8 in this one was selling anywhere between $700 and $800 Canadian. Raw copies went from $80 selling from $80 to $120, and now are selling back down to $20 to $80. I actually saw a copy for $15 the other day, but somebody had beat me to it. It was really good shape, but this one has taken a big dive from where it was. Even graded ones are not doing as well. But again, all it takes is one in a trailer or something, and then the circle starts back up again. Why? Because his first appearance or his cameo appearance, whichever side you're on, are already priced the shit out. No, I mean, you do need to have certain funds to get those books.
Even his first issues are too.
Exactly.
They're
right.
starting to get out of hand.
So this one could be one that, people go to just because of the cheapest alternative. So I expect this one to go back up. But yeah, I'm kind of shocked that this one, it keeps going down.
It's a natural dip. It's just like people don't see him around. He's not around. We've had an explosion last year because of COVID. Every book went through the roof. This one in particular. This book has all the hallmarks of being a massive book down the road. It's probably gone down a bit because it's not like it was underprinted, and there's probably a lot that got sent into grading. I mean, I sent 6 in, and I couldn't get a 9.8. I got 9 6s on all of them. Yeah, I know. If
you got 9 6s, then I probably got a 9.4 on mine. I'm still waiting on mine. I should be getting it this month. So
nice. But I'm not unhappy with a 9.6. It's all good. I paid $5 a piece. So, I bought these years ago, and I still think they're a great deal. I really do. I don't think people understand how big Wolverine's going to be when he's reintroduced. He's going to be Spider-Man big. I truly believe that. So, yeah. And Hulk 181 will be the AF-15 of the 70s.
Yes, so, keep saying that. That makes me smile. Every time you say that
I believe it, man. And I think the most undervalued character right now is this guy and Punisher. Punisher's super undervalued too. So just throw it out there. So yeah, I'd buy this.
Buy an ASM 129. God damn it.
I got one right here.
I mean, my birthday's coming up, so if you want to send an AOK, I mean,
exactly. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, this is what, like 6th or 7th in like the line of succession of like Wolverine keys that you would want, and the fact that we can even consider talking about it and being like, yeah, this is solid pickup. I mean, that just tells you alone that there's so much potential with Wolverine when he comes.
Yeah.
People are gonna get so excited about it. Seeing the mutants in general and specifically Wolverine. He's most people's favorite. So it's like you said, it is kind of one of those things where it's kind of like a natural dip, sort of been off of everybody's mind for a little bit now, so it went down. But it's still a really important early issue for Wolverine, and some of the earlier ones are just out of reach. I mean, you got Hulk 180, 181, and GSX. They're pretty much priced out for most people, and then you start getting into the number ones of his mini and his ongoing, and those are starting to get up there in price too. So this would be the natural next pickup. If you don't have it in your collection already and you're a Wolverine fan, it's definitely one you'll want to grab pretty soon, I would think, because it is only going to go up.
What's crazy to me is the fact that like while 180 and 181 were going up, you could have still found this, because I was late to the party on this book, where I found the 5 copies I did for $1, and because everybody was chasing the 180 and 181, right? And people forgot about this, and I think it was super undervalued for a very long time. Because Chris, I mean, you had kind of like told me, hey, you don't overlook this one, and surely enough, they were still in dollar bins. So
yeah. And honestly, you could still, like, in certain scenarios, find this book super cheap. It's like guys my age don't look at this book like it's anything. It was so overprinted. And they've always been in dollar bins for like 25 years. Now only recently have they had any real value. And so there are people who skip it, and even shop owners don't know its value still. Not every shop owner, obviously. So
Kid Collector saying
not bad for this.
9.8s I think are going for
400, I think.
400, okay, which is still a drop, because like I said, 9.8s when this spiked last year, 750 to 800, right? So $300 loss there. I mean, it's still almost like 40%, 30%, somewhere around there. So yeah, it's still a dramatic.
Spexman made a point here that I think is interesting. He said there's already been a movie for Wolverine, and he's right. There has, as we all know, the Fox movies, and they went on. They were successful enough. They weren't particularly great, but they were what they are. I think with the way specking is and the way the MCU is dominated so strongly, once they get their grips on Wolverine, we won't even remember those movies as being anything at all. I really think it'll be a dawn of a new character.
I think like a lot of them though, a lot of those movies like early on, right? Like we'll probably forget about it.
Yeah.
Specsman is saying the number one of this series, which is Wolverine number 1, is a little undervalued in my opinion.
I agree.
Yep.
El Jefe is saying $4.25 on eBay right now. American or Canadian?
And also, is that the sale price or somebody wants that? Like, is that sold price?
And I'm hoping that's 9.8.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
This next book is going to shock a few people, and Chris and I are going to fucking laugh. Face, I don't know if you're going to laugh because it is one of your characters. So I apologize. I really do.
Oh, this guy.
I don't mean
Ludocrats, number 1.
I don't mean to, put you on a stool here, Face, but Amazing Spider-Man 361. I can't wait for the people who told me, newbie, you're stupid. This is going to be a $5,000 book and da-da-da-da. You're wrong. I said it before the movie. I said it before the trailer. I said it after the movie. I say it now. I'm going to say it tomorrow. I'll probably say it next week. I got a wedding in 2 weeks. I'll probably say it there too. Amazing Spider-Man with 361 and a 9.8 is not, it's almost not even $1,000 book. 9.8s are currently selling for $685 to $900. There was one of those crazy sales that somebody was like, oh, $900, that's a good deal. Not knowing that there was other ones there. During the summer, 9.8s were going for $1,800 to $2,200 Canadian. 9.6s also got some love because I sold mine for about $950 Canadian. I think I got $1,000. I can't remember. But $950 Canadian for a 9.6 at the height. I sold it right when the trailer dropped, and that was it. 55% loss since the summer. You guys do the math. I mean, during the summer it was at a high, let's say, of $2,000. It is now basically 800. Let's call it 800. I mean, that is massive. Almost 60%, 55%. Let's keep it there. He's dead, right? I mean, Venom ate him. He's done. So I don't know where it goes from here with Carnage. Will we ever see Carnage again? Maybe. Will we see Carnage in a next movie? No. Will we see Carnage in anything soon? Probably not. It's probably going to be a while. It's probably going to be one of those reboots, or if they bring him, in the symbiotes into the MCU. So I don't know. I think that this one's still going to drop. Also, because I know Chris is going to say something like print run, and this was in bins, and this was in this and that, and all that is all true. But this is one that really fucking lost its steam, even after a movie. I think the movie being horrible, and the people that said that this was way better than Eternals, I think you were drinking too much that night or something. But yeah, Chris, what are your thoughts, man?
I'm gonna slightly defend the book. Oddly enough, no. I think it's priced where it should be right now. I think it's a book. If you're a Spider-Man fan, he's a definitive bad guy that's really cool, and I get why people would want to have it in their collection. But any kind of movie buzz or any kind of big spikes, I think those days are over. It'll probably just naturally increase in value a little bit every year, like any other book would. That's a minor key, but I don't think it's any kind of major key. And there is a million of them. So, I mean, I know guys out here who literally had 80 9.8 copies. Like, it's crazy how many of these there are. I would love to know the census on this one. Actually, I'm sure it's pretty high.
Yeah, there's a lot of these.
Well, isn't there also, Face, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there also a 999 in this?
Yeah, buddy of mine just got one. It sold it for $52,000.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So when you have that too, you're also always going to have that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. But unfortunately, I did you see the movie? It wasn't very good.
It was terrible. I saw it. Yeah, I couldn't wait for it to be done. I was like, oh, thank God it's done.
It was pretty weak, and I feel bad for people who are fans of this character for that movie, because I think there could have been more to it, definitely. But as a comic, I think it's where it should be priced right now. It's a decent book for
Yeah,
collecting.
I am a fan of this character, and yeah, the movie it wasn't very great. Carney's being the type of character he is. There's obviously still potential for the future, but who would even want it at this point? Like they already tried their hand at it and it wasn't very good. He's one of those characters where if it's like a drop of blood survives, he can still come back. But some stupid shit like that having to do with his particular symbiote. But I would think more the hope would be that there's going to be some detachment and you're going to see a sort of like a different version of the symbiote show up in the MCU now that they've made that connection. Tom Holland's still young, so he's got time playing Spider-Man. Maybe somewhere down the line they could bring in Carnage and the MCU could get it right, but that would be pretty far off. I think, like Chris said, this is probably where this book, kind of should be sitting. He's still a big Spider-Man villain in the comics and everything like that, regardless of any of the movie spec or anything. Like, it's still one that Spider-Man fans want to have in their collection. Still a great character. They're going to be doing some shit with him in the comics, so
he's relevant. He's definitely relevant.
I think if you're a Carnage fan and you don't have this yet, I would wait. I would not pay right now. I would just wait a little bit more because you, like I said, right, and like everybody here said, there's just so many copies that okay, John Smith is selling a 9.8 at X price, but like Joe Blow here is selling it way cheaper, and you can just go down that ladder. I really do think, me personally, by summertime, I think this is like a $500 book in 9.8. I really do. Maybe Canadian.
Hit Comic Ozzy's comment.
5,637 9.8.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And 4.99s.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was a fuck ton that got submitted too. Whenever the movie was announced. So
imagine how many 9.6s and 9.4s there are too. Just shitloads, man.
One question that I wanted to highlight is, and this is actually a pretty good question, but since ASM 361 plummeted, is that a pressure to what other books in the Sony verse are going to do?
Yes.
So you think ASM 101 is going to do the same thing? It's going to plummet?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, they all do. Even the Marvel books, it's like they all take a hit. Look at Eternals #1. Same thing. Like they all just take a hit. 8K 9.6s. Holy shit. Yeah, it's just natural. They all do. Even the big hit movies and stuff. Venom took a hit after, like the ASM 300 even took a hit, and that's like a genuine book that like has a future because that character keeps going in the movies. People love him. So, but that book even went down quite a bit. I
think you have a chance here. Again, if you're a big Carnage fan, or obviously, yeah, like face it, they could touch Carnage down the future, but I think this is a perfect time to get a newsstand edition, like RP saying.
Oh yeah,
because for basically what you're buying a newsstand 9.8 now, that's like almost 3 of these direct versions when the trailer basically dropped, right? Because newsstands were just ridiculous. But I think it's a good opportunity when it keeps going down a bit to maybe get a newsstand. There's too many directs. Like there's
especially a book like this,
5,600 9.8s. There's 8,000 9.6s. Just get the fucking newsstand. It just makes sense. There's only 2 Sony verse properties I'd spec on. It's Spider-Verse 2, or the only Sony one. Yeah. Buying books on an announcement is always likely to plummet after the movie. Got to spec early. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if they've made that announcement, that's not the time to buy.
It's crazy though, man. I just remember because Chris knows this, and Face, I think you know who I'm talking about too. But like there were people coming after me when I destroyed that book.
I remember that.
Said, this book is not going to be where it's at after this movie. Just watch. And the answer I got was, newbie, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. This is a $5,000 book, regardless, because Carnage is going to be up there.
Well, it's always kind of one of those things. It's got to depend on how that movie's going to do. It's not the MCU, so it's not going to survive having a shit movie like, say, like Captain Marvel.
Well, also keep in mind, this was a book that a lot of collectors who didn't have a high value collection all of a sudden had 5 copies of that book, and all of a sudden had possibly $6,000 or $7,000 in value in their books. And they were looking at like that as positively as possible. It's like this was easy money. It's all going to happen like this, and I just don't think they were thinking it through. But I probably would have thought the same if I was that new to it all. So it was wishful thinking.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm stuck with the few OL bought when it first came out, so not losing out. That's true. If you got it for cover, I mean,
dude, if you sold it right now, you'd kill it. Really,
yeah.
You think about it.
So,
yeah, it's still up in price. So.
Gentlemen, Face, let the people know what's going on in the world of YouTube on Face's channel, on what's going on there. Let them know.
So actually tomorrow I'm actually showing up on another channel.
Dun dun dun.
The guy's name is Maxfield Von Priestley. You can look him up on YouTube. He's into the comic scene and everything. They're doing a show that they put together that's it benefits a lot of like first responders, former military, and stuff like that. And that'll actually be tomorrow at 7 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Like I said, over on Maxfield Von Priestley's YouTube channel. You're
gonna put the link in yours, right? Because I know you posted some of the stuff.
Yep.
So okay.
And actually, you can check on my IG. I actually posted there.
Yeah.
So you can definitely see the post there. And as always, you can catch us every Monday over on the Comic Kingpins at 7 o'clock ish. Whenever we get started. Somewhere about 7:05, 7:10, somewhere in there.
All right, perfect. Chris, new year, new me.
Yep.
I know you had some aspiring goals for 2022, but let the people know where they could find you and what's going on in your world.
I'm on IG and YouTube, Vancouver Comic Junkie. I have a lot of videos I have to catch up on, but I have a lot of comics coming from CGC soon, so I could start doing some unboxings. And I also had a movie come out last week called Ditched. It's on Apple, all the VOD. You can buy it. I highly recommend it because it's my movie, and it came out on Tuesday. So
don't ask for autographed copies. I'm still waiting for mine. So
I just got them. So it comes out on Blu-ray in 2 weeks. So
in 2 weeks, Blu-ray. All right, There you go. And the movie is called Ditched.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it's a horror movie. It's like a grindhouse horror movie.
There you go.
Nice.
So there you go. So make sure you guys go support. Hyper's not here to say support your local libraries, but support your local filmmakers.
Yes.
I say locals in Canada because up in Canada, we're just one big party here.
Country.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're all related.
Yeah. I'm excited for you, man. When you told me, and when I was only able to watch the trailers and stuff, I was very happy for you. So hopefully this does really well for you, man. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Yeah. Just remember me when you make it big. I could be security or something. I have sunglasses, so I mean I could be your security. I have a black suit, so I'm pretty much ready to go.
Yeah, we just end up drinking beer together.
Well, I want to thank everyone. I know Dan beat me to it, but I'd like to thank these incredible people in the chat. You're all knowledgeable and bring great content. Yeah. And I apologize if you guys were coming here for the after hour show, which is basically more of a community chat and we talk. So we will bring that. Don't worry. We'll do that. Spexman is saying read your comics. Yeah,
he's right.
Comics. Definitely read your comics. Open them. Right. But yeah, make sure you guys, take a look at all the creators in here, all the YouTube channels and movies. But I do want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. It is Tuesday night, New Comic Book Day Eve. Don't forget 3,000 subscriber giveaway. I'm about 330 away. So let's get it there. I'm trying, fingers crossed, to get to 3K by May. I know it seems like a long time away, but we'll see what happens. Other than that, any last words, fellas?
Read your comics, just like Spexman says.
Right.
Read your comics, people. Don't forget Thor 21, Black Panther 3 tomorrow. Later.
Peace.